Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Welcome once again to Kahului Hongwanji Buddhist Temple's YouTube online Sunday service. Today we are observing Bodhi Day and our Family Gratitude Remembrance. So Bodhi Day is the commemoration of the Buddha's enlightenment, of the historical Buddha's enlightenment. So according to legend, Siddhartha Gautama, who was the prince of the Shaku clan, that's why he's called Shakyamuni, who lived in northern India in something like 2,500 years ago, attained enlightenment as he meditated under a tree that has become known as the Bodhi tree. We have one of those trees in our in front of our temple, and I'll put a picture of that so you can see it. So at the age of 35, it said, he became known as the Buddha, or the awakened one. Today, we also observe our Family Gratitude Remembrance. Let us together enjoy listening and thinking about the Dharma, as well as offering our expressions of gratitude to all those of our departed family members and friends who have a memorial remembrance during this month of December, as well as others that you may have asked to be remembered or that you would like to remember. Let us remember our service with mindfulness, reflection, and appreciation. So we will now begin our service with the Vandana and Tisarana, and following that we will have the aspiration for Bodhi Day and for family gratitude, and then we will chant the Sutra Gassho to Amida. Following that we will recite the Golden Chain of Love, and then I will share a message with you, a reflection on the Dharma. After that we will sing the Metta, or the loving kindness meditation, and then sing the Nembutsu. Then we will have some closing words and announcements. Okay, so thank you very much once again for being here, and let's put our hands together and recite the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Bhutang saranang gacchami, dhammang saranang gacchami, sanghang saranang gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. We spiritually gather together today to observe Kahului Hongwanji Buddhist Temple's Bodhi Day service and family gratitude remembrance, to honor the Buddha and the Buddha's awakening, which we all share through the working of great compassion, and to remember and celebrate the life we share with all beings. At this time, we also remember those whose memorial services are observed in this month, as well as any other friends and loved ones whom you would like to remember. May the boundless and supreme light of wisdom shine within our hearts and minds and guide us to walk this Buddhist path of awakening for the sake of all beings. May the Buddha's light illumine our path as we strive toward a world of peace and happiness for everyone. In deep awareness of the many blessings we constantly receive from others, let us repeat the name which is true reality itself, boundless light, measureless life. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Joy and gratitude, I Gassho to Amida. Trees and grasses and flowers all grow in great compassion. This light shines throughout the world. I Gassho to Amida. Flowers bloom and flowers fall. From the seed sprout new flowers. This is the truth unchanging. I Gassho to Amida. Springtime brings the happy birds, their songs all praise Amida. I join them in Nembutsu. I Gassho to Amida. When I call Amida's name, it's Amida calling me. Buddha's voice, my voice are one. I Gassho to Amida. When I'm lonely, I recite Namo Amida Butsu. Then I feel great compassion. I Gassho to Amida. Nembutsu in work and play, every day with Amida. Every moment filled with light. I Gassho to Amida. Remember the golden chain, kindness to all living things. I will follow this teaching. I Gassho to Amida. In the clear bright morning sun, in the fading light of day, in the darkness of the night, I Gassho to Amida. Namo Amida Butsu. I live in great compassion. great power guides my life. I Gassho to Amida. Namandabu, 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 Namandabu. The virtue of Amida's vow is shared equally by all, together attaining awakened mind. We are born in the land of peace. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda.
Golden Chain of Love. I am a link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that on what I do now depends not only my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May every link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love become bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Welcome once again. At this time I would like to share some thoughts about the Buddha's teaching with you. So will you join me with hands together in Gassho? Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning, or whenever you're watching this video, to reflect on the Dharma as we observe Bodhi Day, the remembrance of Gautama Siddhartha's attainment of enlightenment, or a better translation is awakening, and becoming the Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha. You probably know the story of the Buddha's life and awakening. It is the story of a prince, a privileged person, you see, who grew up sheltered from the reality of life by his father, who was the king. His father kept him isolated from real life, from suffering, old age, sickness, and death, because he knew his son was destined for greatness, and he wanted his son's greatness to take the form of him being a great king, a person of power and authority over others like himself. He wanted his son to be a person of the highest status, who would be able to bring great honor to the family name. His father's fear was that Siddhartha would become, instead of a seeker of power, he would become a seeker of truth, a spiritual person. A seeker of truth, of course, is a humble person who renounces power and authority over others. A truly spiritual person never seeks status, never wants to appear better than others. While a king is really, a somebody in the eyes of the world, a spiritual seeker aims at being a nobody. Like many parents, Siddhartha's father wanted his son really to be a somebody, like a lot of parents want their children to grow up and be something, And so to keep Siddhartha on this path of seeking power, wealth and honor and authority over others, the father, kept his son totally isolated from reality. He tried to prevent his son from encountering suffering and impermanence, and kept him in a world of pleasure where all his desires were instantly satisfied, and where he had never heard or experienced hunger, pain, or death. And so he knew that if his son experienced the suffering, the difficulties of life, and saw that other people suffered and so on, he may become a spiritual seeker rather than just a selfish person seeking power. So we know from this story that his father failed in his attempt to keep Siddhartha on the path of becoming the great king. Parents usually fail, actually, when they try to shield their children from reality or try to dictate their children's destiny. The moment Siddhartha got a glimpse of real life, which was inevitable, he left behind all his privilege and comfort, and he became a nobody, a homeless wanderer in the forests of India. Through his path of seeking, Siddhartha was able to become completely awakened. He became Buddha. But the king was, his father, was not wrong in thinking that to be a person of power, one needs to be shielded from reality, right? It seems funny, but it's true. All the kings, emperors, and dictators in history attained their positions because their goals were self-centered and deluded. Kings are not interested in reality, only in maintaining their own power, gaining and maintaining power. But a person who seeks spiritual truth will inevitably realize the depth of his or her own self-centeredness. He or she will look beyond his own comfort and convenience and will realize that everyone is connected and part of the same life, that all life is one. In the light of the Dharma, truth of impermanence, in the light of impermanence, the seeker will naturally renounce selfish power and respond to all beings with gratitude and generosity. That's the essence of Buddhism. So the story of the Buddha's life, his awakening and his passing, is a very important and profound story. But the purpose of the Buddhist story is not to teach us about the doings of one particular person who lived in India all those centuries ago. It is really a parable through which our own life and spiritual path can be illumined for us, for ourselves, here and now, so that we too can awaken to reality. Shinran Shonin understood that Shakyamuni Buddha lived in order to reveal the measureless compassion. That's Amida Buddha. That's what we call Amida Buddha. The measureless compassion that embraces all beings, all things. Siddhartha's story is not about Siddhartha's attainment of Buddhahood, but about everyone's attainment of Buddhahood. In our Shin Buddhist tradition, we realize this attainment right here and now, in all the messiness and imperfections of life, while we remain our imperfect, foolish, and ignorant selves. Siddhartha left behind his sheltered world to discover, to awaken to the truth. Of course, we don't have to be a prince to follow this path. It doesn't matter if we start out rich, poor, or in between. Each of us is taught from birth to hide ourselves away behind comfortable assumptions about life, thoughts that allow us to hide from the true facts of life. So, the Buddha's teachings, the Dharma, is always trying to teach us that life is not what we think it is, not what we are pretending to be. It's not what it seems. Buddhism comes to teach us that without awakening, without the Buddha wisdom, we are not really living our lives. We are hiding in our goals and plans and dreams. We are not really here, but we are acting out our life according to someone else's set of rules. You might say we are following a script, playing a role, instead of actually living our life. If we are honest with ourselves, we can see that this is true for most of us, most of the time. We are all playing roles in our lives. Every day we play roles. We play the role of mother, father, grandparent, son, daughter, adult, children. We play roles in our professions and in our place in the community. Are you a business person, a lawyer or a doctor, a plumber, an engineer, a secretary, or a farmer? Are you that, or are you yourself? I am playing the role of a Buddhist minister right now. Of course, at the same time, we really are those things too. Mothers, daughters, sons, fathers, engineers, ministers, etc. Our work is certainly part of who we are. I'm really a minister, but most of us do our best to fill our roles in life in an honest and meaningful way, of course. But the truth is, we often spend our time and energy trying to be what other people expect or want us to be, or to live up to an ideal image of ourselves that we have received from the media, from advertisements, movies, TV, social media, and so on. Or we may spend our time feeling bad because we're not able to be what others tell us we should be. We are not able to live up to arbitrary expectations about what each person should be. We worry about the perception others have of us. Especially young people do this, and it can be, very great suffering. People worry so much. It's kind of hard. It's kind of wired into our nature. We think, oh, I weigh too much. I'm not pretty or handsome enough. My hair is the wrong color, the wrong length, the wrong texture. I'm not cool enough or athletic enough. My job doesn't pay enough. I don't have a big enough home, and so on and so on. We're always trying to be somebody, but we have never had the chance to become ourselves. We need to remember the example of the Buddha, of his awakening that we commemorate today. To awaken to what is true and real in life, Siddhartha had to become a nobody. He had to let go of all his certainties, all of his status, all his sense of importance, all the comforts that make life easy. He had to encounter himself just as he was, not a king, not a successful person, not as one who was proud of his great achievements. He needed to face himself alone and see that his living arose only through the working of countless other beings and forces. When he realized his life arising from great compassion, he became the Buddha. And the truth Siddhartha discovered about himself is true for every single last one of us. Actually, Siddhartha's path of awakening began when he left behind the idea of what his life should be and who he really was. That came. Let me say that again. Actually, Siddhartha's path of awakening began when he left behind the idea of what his life should be and who he really was, that came from others. The dream of his father, for instance, that he become a great king. And when he simply trusted that the path itself would enable him to discover his true self, his true meaning, his true purpose, who he really was. I think the problem of living a false or a real life is something we have all faced. Everyone's faced it throughout time. But today, with so much technology and so many distractions, it's a little worse, maybe a lot worse. In any case, we all suffer from this in the world. Whatever religion we happen to be from, it's not just Buddhism. If we live our whole life without awakening, without questioning, we are most likely to be wasting our life, wasting our lives. At some point, everybody needs to ask the very important question: am I really living my life? Am I truly sincere about what I say and do, about who I am? What do I care about? We need to ask these questions. What do I care about? What are the values I live by, regardless of what others tell me I should do or should believe? Because being ourselves, sincerely ourselves, is the most important thing Buddhism, or really any true religion, teaches us. Being sincere means to be present in what you are doing, thinking, and feeling. Unfortunately, it is very hard to know if we are being sincere or not, whether we are really being ourselves and living our own lives, or just walking through life with our eyes closed, hoping that the future will somehow bring us happiness and fulfillment. In fact, we tend to create habits and patterns of behavior to carry us through all the moments of life so that we don't have to pay attention, we don't have to think, we don't have to be mindful. Because being present, being yourself, is really hard. It's really the hardest thing. And it's also often very painful. It's easier to pretend. It's much easier to just play a role. The Buddha taught that suffering comes from our attachments, our delusions that something out there, outside myself, will somehow make me happy. So we spend a lot of time preparing for happiness instead of being happy. I think most people spend their whole life preparing for happiness. We think, when I complete this or that goal, when I graduate, when I get married, when I get that car or that house, then I'll be happy. When I retire, then I'll be happy, you know. But I want to suggest, following the Buddha's teaching, that we stop thinking about life as something that we will reach when this or that goal is fulfilled. Our minds are always filled with goals and plans and desires and hopes and dreams. Those things are fine and necessary in our ordinary, everyday life, of course. But in themselves, all those goals and plans and desires and hopes and dreams are not real. No matter how important we think they are, our dreams and plans are just something in our minds. Your life, right at this very moment, is what is already significant. You're living right now, as you're listening to this video, whatever you're doing, right now, that's the most significant thing. That's the most real and true and important thing, right now. Who you are, what you're doing in this very present moment. Everything we do every day, whether we're working or studying, doing chores around the house, shopping, cooking, whatever. All of these are real and important in themselves. They should not be done simply as a means to achieve something else later on. The Buddha urged us to wake up to the significance and preciousness of this very moment, right now. Because if we think that our real life is going to come in the future, in our hopes and goals and dreams, then that is where our minds will be too. And this moment, this actual moment we're now living, will just be something we do by habit. It will pass by unnoticed. We will be ignoring it. And living by habit, hiding from or sleeping through the actual moments of our life is what the Buddha meant by suffering. Right now is what is real for us. Right now is the time to truly live. Through all the problems we are facing in the world today, let's try to remember this. It's kind of a simple truth. It's not easy, but fortunately in the life of Nembutsu, Amida is always calling to us, reminding us, calling us to wake up to this present moment, wake up to the truth of the here and now. In Namo Amida Butsu, the Buddha says, Namo, just let go and trust that you are embraced, nurtured and supported by boundless life. That's Amida. And this is your Buddhahood, your awakening, right here and now, Butsu. Namo, let go, be embraced by boundless life, right here and now, and this is your Buddhahood, already fully achieved, even though we remain our ordinary self right in the here and now. So thank you so much for allowing me to share these thoughts with you. It's a little early in the month yet, but I would like to thank all of you for all of the kindness and support I've in the last year, all of your kindness and support to me and to Kahului Hongwanji, and I'd like to wish you all a very happy New Year filled with joy and peace. Thank you very much for listening, and let's recite the Nembutsu now. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May I be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to me. May I live in peace and harmony. May my family be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my teachers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my friends be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May strangers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my enemies be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today for Kahului Hongwanji Buddhist Temple's Bodhi Day and Family Gratitude Remembrance. I just have a few announcements today. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone who helped out with our fundraisers, our chow fun and other delicious food item fundraiser last Saturday. And also we have had our thrift shop for 2 Saturdays in a row, another kind of small fundraiser, but it's working very well. So I'd like to thank everyone for helping with that and participating, supporting us in every way, any way that you can. So thank you so much. We really appreciate that. There will be no more services this month in December until New Year's Eve. We'll have an in-person service, in-person only service, December 31st at 7 p.m. So it's kind of a short service. Everyone's busy on New Year's Eve, and it's a little hard for people to come late, especially the age of our congregation. So we have it a little earlier instead of at midnight, But New Year's Eve service at 7 o'clock, and we'll also have, everyone will have the opportunity to ring the temple bell to bring in the new year. And then we will, following that, we will have no service on January 2nd, Sunday, January 2nd, but we will have services on the 9th and the 16th, our regular Sunday family service, and in person in the temple and YouTube, of course. And then on January 23rd, once again, we will have in-person and YouTube service for Hoonko. That's the memorial service for Shinran Shonin. So he's the kind of teacher and founder of our tradition. And so that will be January 23rd, Sunday. And then January 30th is still unknown. That's the 5th Sunday of the month. So I'll update you on that later. So thank you very much. Or you can just call the temple to check. So we also continue to have our Buddhist classes, usually a Buddhist discussion group on Thursday mornings at 10:30. It's a 1-hour discussion group, and then first and third Tuesday evenings at 6:30 we have a Buddhist class, which is also kind of discussion theme and discussion kind of class, and that's only the first and third Tuesdays. But for more information, just call the temple. Those are currently being held only on Zoom, okay, not in person yet. So thank you very much, and let's conclude our service now by putting our hands together and reciting the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida.